So there's a pedestal in this sport. There's legends. You look back and you look at Rick Clunn, you look at Gary Klein, and by far, the most recognized in the sport is Kevin Van Dam. And to qualify for this tournament, that's who I had to beat. The legend, the guy that everybody bows down to when you go to a boat show or you even see him. He's the man. And he's won so many classics, so many Angler of the Years, so many different tournaments that he's just up here now. And that's what I eventually want to get there. This is the classic. This is the tournament that everybody strives to get to. Everybody wants to get to this event, and now it's here. And I don't want to be that angler that just wins one event or two events or three events. I want to be that person. You're only as good as your last event. And I've had a successful career up to this point, but there's nothing more than I would love than win this event right here. A big deal on this lake is throwing a blade runner or fish head spin, and I know that's going to be a big player regardless how cold it is. These herring get on certain places, so I'm going to try to run a lot of pockets, a lot of areas that traditionally this bite's going to go down in. As you can tell, it's about 25 degrees outside, and you can see what does to your line and the guides and everything else. So you got to constantly putting heat on there. Take that sucker in there. You can get them out so you can make another cast. It's a pain, but you got to do it. Well guys, it's about 10 o'clock, first day of practice. Just pulled up on a point to try to throw jerk bait for a little bit, and it hasn't started the way I wanted it so far. Had a few bites, out deep on a drop shot, had a few bites in some pockets on a fish head. Did see some schooling activity, so that's good. But the biggest thing in this event is you're wanting to win. So, and the only way I feel like to do that is to find those largemouth, those 4, 5, 6 pounders. Up shallow. I mean, you can catch them out deep. Alton caught them back in 2008 out deep, but I feel like those are the ones that are really going to carry you through the event. So we're going to spend the majority of the day trying to really fish somewhat shallow, 15 foot and less, and try to figure out how to catch a couple of those big heads. Things have been tough. I mean, it really has been tough. It hasn't been an easy first practice day at all. Just sort of trying to get a feel for what's going on. Throwing a shadow wrap around right now, throwing a spinnerbait around. Just trying to sort of see what these fish, how far they move back and what they're doing. But, you know, I hooked one just a minute ago and I thought, oh, that's gonna be him. Hooked him on a crankbait and I said, oh boy. I said, this is definitely gonna be a good one. And it's pulling hard, had it underneath the trolling motor because I couldn't control it. I was like, hey, this must be a real good one. It comes up and it's a hybrid striper. So we've caught a striper, just a regular striper and a hybrid today. I said, those are the only two things we caught. So we're on the striper pattern. We got to get off that real quick to make something happen. DT6 fish right there. Starting to get a couple bites. It's good. It's really good. That's a good deal. Not a lot of boats around. Not too many boats around. It's a pretty large area too. A good vibe about this place. A real good vibe. About 4 o'clock, day one of practice down here for the Bassmaster Classic. We're starting to figure a little bit of something out. Got into a little creek with some stained water in it. The sun's been out all day. It hasn't been warm. It's still probably only 40, 45 degrees. You know, realistically, it's all about getting bit. And we got a few bites this morning, but this is sort of the way I envision the tournament being won, or at least getting a big bag one day. You know, like you're talking 20, 25 pounds, you know, you're gonna need a couple big ones, 5, 6 pounders, but this is the way to do it in a lot of ways, catching them big largemouth. So we're gonna continue to do this and see what the next 2 hours bring. I mean, basically, sun goes down here in a couple hours and we're gonna keep on cranking and throwing that DT6 around and see if we can't just develop a little pattern here. So I spent a lot of time on Hartwell. That's actually the first event that I fished, professional event in my career. I fished on Lake Hartwell when I was 21, my rookie season. And you know, did pretty decent, ended up 38th in that event. I've always finished middle of the pack here. And then the other event last year, it was the same conditions, sort of kind of as this one, not as cold, but pretty cold. The water was up about 3 feet higher, but the fish acted a little bit of the same. They were spread out a little bit more. And I ended up making the top 20 in that event. So I had 2 decent events here, never really hit it out of the park. But the thing is that I like about this lake is you have to fish on the fly. If the conditions are flat calm, you have to adjust to that. If they're windy, you have to adjust to that. And the fish really, you know, those conditions really dictate what you can do. And that's what I love about this lake. And the guy who wins the event is gonna have to do that all 3 days.